If your business has been closed, sold, or maybe you've rebranded and you've got an old Trustpilot profile sitting out there, most people don't know this, but you can actually remove your profile entirely from Trustpilot, and this video is going to show you exactly how to do that. So the question, can you remove your company from Trustpilot? The short answer is yes, but there are conditions. It's not something you can do simply because you don't like your Trustpilot rating or because on a random Tuesday afternoon you decided that you no longer wanted a Trustpilot profile. Trustpilot has specific criteria that need to be met before they can even close the profile. So if you're an active business with a current reputation crisis, or maybe you simply don't like the reviews that you see on your Trustpilot profile, this route isn't for you. And I'll cover what your options are towards the end of the video, so you might want to stick around. But if your situation qualifies, the process for removing it entirely is pretty straightforward, and I'm going to walk you through that now. So when does it actually qualify? There are 3 situations when Trustpilot will consider closing a profile entirely. The first is when the business has been sold and is now operating under new ownership. The second is when the business has closed and is no longer operating under any capacity whatsoever. The third is when the business has rebranded completely and the profile no longer accurately reflects the current entity in any meaningful way. What doesn't qualify is an active business that simply wants to get rid of their profile altogether simply because they don't like their reviews. Trustpilot's not going to close your profile simply because you don't like your profile or you don't like the reviews that you see. It's just not how it works. That's going to be a lost cause, so don't even try. That's a completely different problem and requires a completely different solution. How does the process actually work? Well, once you've established that your situation does in fact qualify for a complete removal off of Trustpilot, there are 2 separate steps that are involved, and most people only pay attention to the first one. I'm going to cover both. Step 1 is going to be to close the Trustpilot profile itself. You submit a request to Trustpilot with documentation that supports your case. So that could be proof of sale, proof that the business is no longer operating, or evidence that you've completely rebranded. Trustpilot is going to review that request, and if approved, it will close the profile entirely. Step 2 is to de-index that profile from Google, and a lot of people miss this, so pay attention to this. A closed Trustpilot profile does not just automatically disappear from Google search results. It can still sit there, still rank for your business name, and show up anytime someone searches your brand on Google. De-indexing is a separate process that completely removes it from Google itself. So both steps need to actually happen to the profile to stop actually causing damage. And we've actually handled this situation a few times here at Media Removal. And in a few of the cases, the businesses were either no longer operating or they had rebranded, or even one time they had completely sold the business and they didn't want the Trustpilot profile still displaying on page 1 because it just wasn't accurately representing them. But the Trustpilot profiles were still live, still indexed, still ranking on page 1 and causing some pretty serious damage to the businesses. And when the owners came to us, they, funny enough, had no idea that you could do something like this. They thought it was just kind of a lost cause. They gave up all hope, threw up their hands, and just decided to live with it. We ended up closing both Trustpilot profiles and then de-indexed them entirely from Google. And now those old business names, whether they're operating under a new business, they were sold, rebranded, the old businesses were no longer showing on Google, so now they had a clean slate, no trails left behind, and everyone was happy. Here's an example of a closed profile. It'll say something like this: "Thanks for visiting Trustpilot. Unfortunately, it's not possible to leave a review here anymore because the company's website has closed." And there's quite a bit that goes into this, the exact step-by-step process, but we do actually handle cases like these where we need to shut down a profile and then actually de-index it from Google. And so this is pretty much what it looks like. If you scroll down here, you'll notice that you won't be able to leave reviews anymore. And that's it. It's a closed profile. And if de-indexed, this is never going to be shown to anyone ever again. And now for you business owners that are still active and operating, and I asked you to stick around to the end of the video, this part's for you. So if you landed on this video and you were hoping that this is your solution, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not. But that doesn't mean you're out of options. If you have a Trustpilot profile with negative reviews that are hurting sales, hurting your business, whatever the case may be, the play is going to be removal, not closing the profile. And I've just recorded a full video step-by-step on how to remove negative reviews from Trustpilot. So go give that a watch. I'll drop the link in the description below. but that's essentially where you're going to want to start. So you can remove your profile entirely from Trustpilot, but only if your situation qualifies, and we went over those criteria, so be sure to revisit that before you do anything. And when you do qualify, just be sure that you follow those 2 steps of not only closing the profile, but then actually de-indexing it from Google. And if you want help navigating that process, as it can be a little bit tricky, we've done this before, so we'd be happy to run a free audit on your case and figure out exactly what needs to be done. That's all for today, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. We upload videos like this weekly, so feel free to share with friends, other business partners, owners, and I'll see you guys in the next one.